Do you ever get that feeling? You're trying to fix everything out there in the world, but inside it's just chaos? Well, today we're going to dive into this really powerful idea from a Turkish thinker, Mustafa Islamoğlu. It's called Yürek Devleti, which translates to the state of the heart. And the whole concept is that the biggest, most important revolution, well, it has to start inside you.
We spend so much of our lives looking up at the stars, right? Trying to figure out our place in this massive cosmos. But what if we've been looking in completely the wrong direction? What if the real answers aren't out there, but in here?
Exactly. The argument is that the real journey isn't outward, it's inward. We've got to explore this entire universe that exists inside every single one of us. A world that's just as complex, just as mysterious, and just as full of undiscovered territory as the one with all the stars and galaxies. So, for exploring the outer universe, we have cosmology. We study stars, planets, the whole deal. But for that inner universe, there's a totally different kind of science, Irfan. Think of it as this ancient wisdom that's all about self-knowledge. And here's the core idea. We've gotten so good, so expert at exploring outer space, that we've kind of become strangers to our own inner space. And this neglect, this forgetting of our inner world, it has some pretty serious consequences. It throws us into this deep crisis of meaning, and it turns us into what the source calls a society of imbalanced victims. So what's the problem? It's not that there's no truth out there, it's that the truth has been shattered into pieces. We each grab onto one little fragment of the puzzle and then convince ourselves that our one piece is the entire picture. And that leads to this fundamental imbalance in how we see everything.
Okay, so this imbalance creates three very distinct archetypes. And hey, maybe you'll see a little bit of yourself in one of these. First up, you've got the kitab, or the book victim. This is the head. All theory, all intellect, but no real action or feeling. Life is just something to be read, not lived. Then there's the tesbih, or the rosary victim. This is the heart. All feeling, all emotion, but not a lot of critical thought or action to back it up. And last, you have the salah, or the weapon victim. This is the hand. All action, all go, 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 but it's driven by impulse, with no deep thought or spiritual grounding.
The takeaway here is, well, it's simple, but it's also incredibly profound. Any one of these parts working all by itself is just useless. An intellect without a heart, worthless. A heart without an intellect, same thing. And even if you have both, without action, they're completely ineffective. They were literally designed to work together, as one.
So if the big problem is all this fragmentation and imbalance, what's the solution? Well, the source gives us a really powerful unifying principle that acts as the antidote.
The key is a single word, denge, or balance. And this isn't just some self-help buzzword. It's presented as the fundamental law of the entire universe. It's that perfect, harmonious state where our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions finally click into place and work together. I mean, think about it like this. If the incredibly delicate balance of the cosmos were to suddenly break, it would literally be an apocalypse, right? The source says it's the exact same for us. When the balance inside of us breaks, that's a personal apocalypse. And getting to this state of internal harmony, it's not just a psychological goal. It's actually defined as taqwa, a state of true spiritual consciousness, a deep and profound connection to something greater.
Okay, so how do we get there? How do we achieve this balance? This brings us to the central metaphor of this whole philosophy, building a state, not out there in the world, but right inside your own heart. The message here is absolutely revolutionary. It argues that all our efforts to change the world, all of them, are basically useless if we haven't first won the war that's raging inside of us. The number one battleground is our own heart. So how do you actually build this state of the heart? The process is laid out like a four-step war of liberation. Step one, you have to recognize that your heart is basically occupied territory. It's been taken over by things like ego, greed, all those distractions. Step two, you declare your inner la ilahe, which means there is no God. You're rejecting all those false idols that have set up shop inside you. Then, step three, you establish your illallah, or but God. You're affirming the true sovereign of your heart. Do all that, and you get to step four, your heart becomes a liberated territory, a true Yürek Devleti.
So you've done it. You've fought the inner war, you've found that balance, you've built the state of the heart. But what's the point? What's the ultimate purpose of all this incredibly hard inner work? The conclusion is just so simple but so profound. The source suggests that the final answer to that huge question, the why of existence, is love. Or in Turkish,
Sivgi.
And we're not just talking about a fleeting emotion here. Love is presented as the very bedrock of reality. Why? Well, think about it. You can't love something that doesn't exist. So the very act of loving something affirms its existence. The source describes God as Al-Wadud, the all-loving, and argues that the entire universe was created as an expression of this love. It's the purpose, the reason, the engine behind everything. And we're left with this one last, really powerful distinction. It completely challenges our modern idea of love, separating it from just passion. And it leaves us with the question, if the real goal is to build an inner state that can produce this eternal kind of love, where does that work even begin for you?